King Charles has been diagnosed with cancer. I know, the report, this is from NBC. During the King's recent hospital procedure for benign prostate enlargement, a separate issue of concern was noted. Subsequent diagnostic tests haven't identified a form of cancer. Buckingham Palace did not specify what form of cancer was diagnosed or at what stage it was found. Buckingham Palace saying Charles had, quote, commenced a schedule of regular treatments and that during treatment he would, quote, postpone public-facing duties, saying he would continue with his official business and usual office work. So I'd be remiss if I didn't point out to you, the next headline in the Daily Mail is, Harry to fly to London after King's cancer diagnosis. I'm sorry, I wish I could believe that was all about supporting his father who's ill, but I don't. But the bigger picture is the King is sick and with something serious. And I wonder, Paul, like, you know, if you look at the scenarios that are in front of us here, I mean, could we potentially have a situation where we have a king who's only been on the throne for a year or two or what have you and we hope nature doesn't decide for him, that this is going to be his son's game sooner than we thought. Not that son, but the heir.
No, you're absolutely correct in terms of William. I think a lot of people had the sense that there was something pretty serious about the surgeries that he was going for. We started to hear about the potentials in and around prostate. I do find it mysterious that the Buckingham Palace sometimes kind of wants to play the game like it's, 1924, not 2024, which is that you can turn around and say the king is ailing, or the Queen Elizabeth, I mean, literally her death certificate says that she died of old age. Now, it's not going to speed up or reduce the cancer for people to know what type of cancer that it is. Obviously, right. Human to human, we hope that it is not advanced, that whatever treatment he can get is the best possible and he has the longest possible life. But I think what is particularly worth noting here is that Queen Elizabeth's reign was the longest of all time. It was the exception to the rule. Now, in previous times, obviously, it had been good health or conflicts, a whole series of reasons why kings and queens come and go. But the reality that we could be looking at a potential change in the throne, either through the worst possible circumstances or health, meaning that it's passed on to the son within 5 years, 10 years, or even in the worst case scenario here, 2 or 3 years, is very real, which is why there's a constant training process for who's next. That the Prince of Wales' role inside the royal household is essentially to be right across all of the activities of the king for the moment when you ascend to the throne. And William obviously has, just as his father has, his entire life known that that is his future. So it's not a shock where you wake up one day living a normal life and then you become a king. For obvious reasons, you are training for it and preparing for it. Obviously, as a family, I hope that they can pull themselves together and make it through. The Harry thing I've got to mention here, where he's been in and out of the UK multiple times when he was trying to sue newspapers and then turned around and dropped those actions. He didn't see his father. Instead, it takes potentially, let's say, early cancer or worst case scenario, pretty advanced cancer for him to drop all of his bullshit and to actually go and see his father. And that's a comment about him. And that's why, thankfully, he is the spare, and the heir in William and his wife, Kate, is somebody who is ready when his time comes.
Yeah. When Charles was going through the hospital treatments to figure out what was going on with the enlarged prostate, was right around the time when Harry's book was mysteriously translated to reveal the alleged racist, or not Harry's book, Omid Scobie's book, was mysteriously translated to reveal who the alleged racists were in the royal family, who supposedly said they were concerned about the color of Meghan and Harry's child. And it was revealed one of them was allegedly King Charles. And there's no way Omid Scobie would have been told that by anybody other than Harry and Meghan. So these two, in my view, have been sticking the knife into King Charles for years now, the royal family at large. And so it's the same thing with the Queen. Was there any person or persons more responsible for stress within the family than those two leading up to her unfortunate death? And as he falls ill with cancer, I'm not blaming these two, but I also don't have it in me to cheer for his heartfelt return to be by his dad's bedside when he's in trouble, when he is the family member more than any other who tried to stick the knife into his dad as he was ascending to the throne, has been ignoring him, as you point out, when he goes to the UK. So whatever, it shouldn't be a headline. The headline should be about the king. He's 75. He was only coronated in May. And, these things can be serious. What we hope is that this one will be under control and fast, because one thing's true. They have access to the best healthcare in the world. Sorting through your expense tracking, estimated payments, and all those deductions is overwhelming. It might lead to a failure to file or failure to pay penalties that pile up on your tax debt. Here's an idea. The attorneys at Tax Network USA have been lifesavers for many. Their team has successfully saved clients over $1 billion in tax debts. Whether you're in the hole for 10 grand or staring at a $10 million debt, they are ready to help. Even if you haven't filed in 1, 5, or 10 years, the expert attorneys and tax pros at Tax Network USA are equipped to secure the best settlement for you and to help you resolve all tax cases no matter how they started. Go to tnusa.com/Megyn, tnusa.com/Megyn, or call 1-800-245-6000. Contact them now, as these tax debt relief programs are expected to change. tnusa.com/Megyn, or call 1-800-245-6000 and tell them Megyn Kelly sent you. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.